Hello everyone.
Hi.
And welcome to week 4 of the 5-week Quantum Shiatsu webinar series. We're having so much fun putting this together, and we really hope you're going to enjoy this week. I've got Gabriella and Nicola with me, and of course Dinah's there. She's in the background. She's looking after the chat this week, so say hi on the chat and we'll get straight on. We've got a packed, exciting evening for you this evening. And first of all, we're just going to spend about 5 or 10 minutes just reviewing what we've got up to right now in the past 3 weeks. And here are the 3 weeks. The first week we looked at Pauline's background. We looked at the Zen Shiatsu Masunaga System. We did some experimenting with the functions of the meridians, and we looked at Hara Palpation. Week 2, we went on to contraction and expansion, alignment, peripheral vision, modeling and mindset, two-handed technique, and going beyond Kyojitsu. And then last week, we did the energetic bodies, the material body, personal body, etheric body, and the astral body. And that was a lot of fun. So that was the overview. Here's a picture of Pauline. She was graduated by Masunaga. She attended all his 1970s New York workshops, and she also translated Zen Shiatsu with Ohashi. She developed the curriculum of the Ohashi Institute, and she was one of the most influential teachers who took forward the Masunaga system when Masunaga died. So she developed the Masunaga system. Now, Masunaga system had some very interesting features. Most of you will be aware of that. We did some polls early on. He developed Zen Shiatsu or Masunaga system from the Namakoshi method. Features of his system are the Kyojitsu method, using 2 hands, Hara diagnosis, the extended meridians, which extended all the meridians into all different parts of the body. And here they are. There's the meridian system. But one of the more little known things about Zen Shiatsu is that the kinesthetic experience of the meridians. So we have the meridian expressions, take a deep breath in, gathering food, and so on. They're the expressions. And what they do is they give us a kinesthetic, a physical experience of the meridians that we can feel in the whole body. And what that does is it takes us into associations on a psychological and a physical level, but also it moves us towards a holographic model, because when you feel this expression, you don't just feel it down the channel, you feel it in your whole body. Okay, so there's a little diagram showing how Pauline was influenced by Masunaga and also by Kishi. She actually apprenticed with Kishi. She graduated, was graduated by Masunaga. So she was in that lineage of the Zen Shiatsu. So Kishi was Masunaga's first disciple, and he took the Shiatsu technique into a different dimension, really, because of the spiritual practice with Shinto. And a lot of his work, especially when I was studying with him in the 80s, was off the body. It was very precise, very focused, very energetic touch. So then we went on to look at the Hara Palpation. Now, when Masunaga did the Hara Palpation, it was a much deeper, slower technique than Pauline did, and she lightened the whole thing up, made it much quicker. And in fact, a lot of the time she used to use etheric Hara Palpation as well, scanning above the Hara. And we discussed how that differed from the deeper, slower palpation and some of the advantages of doing it that way. So that with that light touch, with a fast, steady rhythm, the emphasis is looking back and reflecting on a whole experience. And if you remember, I gave the analogy, like if I want to feel where this line is on my t-shirt here, it's easy for me to quickly scan down and I can immediately find where there's change. Now, if I spend a lot of time pressing down here, it's going to be harder for me to detect a difference. And it's a bit like that with the Hara diagnosis. Pauline put it into a faster rhythm, and the idea was you kind of almost scan the whole Hara and reflect it back. So you can assess all the areas and pick out the ones that kind of came up to you. Okay, so then we went on to week 2, and we did some bit of philosophy there. We looked at the Tao Te Ching. We talked about Kyojitsu and how Pauline's work moved from working Kyojitsu into working just one meridian. And we talked about philosophically how it takes us from the 2 back up to the 1 towards the Tao. We also explored our alignment, and here's a picture of Pauline using the alignment technique. She was influenced by the by various yogic techniques such as the locks, but also by the Alexander technique. And basically, the idea is that we can change what we perceive by how we set up our alignment. And basically, it's contraction expansion. The more we contract either our vision, our mindset, or our physical body, our physical touch, the more contracted it becomes, the more it goes down towards the 10,000 things, the more differentiation we feel. The more we go into the alignment, the more we expand our peripheral vision, open our technique up, then we tend to get more of a sense of the whole person. We're going towards unity. And here you can see Pauline using a variety of techniques. You can see her dropping down into a sacrum, which would be more contractive. She's using a fairly neutral gaze. She's not really opening up too much peripherally. She's using quite a lot of extension in the spine there. That would provide an expansion into the touch. And she's keeping those wrists really relaxed. So you get, I should say, probably predominantly expansive touch in that picture, but rooted down through the sacrum. And that was how we were kind of exploring the whole alignment. So the idea is contraction and expansion is like yin and yang. Energy is constantly being created by that process of contraction and expansion. The contractive phase means you get more manifestation, more structured perception of the receiver, and also the receiver will feel that. They'll feel their physical body, they'll feel their structure, and they tend to feel more parts. So this is my shoulder, this is my elbow. It goes down towards the 10,000 things. When we go into the expansive phase and we start opening up peripheral vision, the touch changes and our perception of the parts merge together, and the receiver will also get more of a sense of their whole body, their whole energy field. And we can use that therapeutically depending on what we want to achieve in the session and how we want to interact with our clients. Okay, we then went on to look at the alternating hand technique. Now, Pauline developed that from Masunaga technique, where we have a mother hand and a working hand, because with the peripheral vision and the expansion of awareness of the energy field, we can dispense with the mother hand to tune in to what's happening, because we can sense that through the connection with the energetic field. Okay, and the other emphasis in alternating hands is as we bring the body weight in, we go into the expansive phase, which spreads our awareness out through the meridian. And that gives us a different sense of the meridian, more as a vibration or more as a structure of light in the body, the light body. Okay, and then we looked at some specific techniques, mindset, which is basically using your intention, a thought command to create a particular effect in the energetic field. We looked at modeling. That's where we set up a vibration in our own field that resonates with the client, and that's something we do in everyday life, isn't it? Like, I mean, we don't generally go up to someone and say, calm down, because that wouldn't have the right modeling effect. But if we feel calm in ourselves and we say, look, just calm down, that feeling of that resonance will communicate, and we can do that in the Shiatsu technique too. So that's another specific technique that works particularly well if you get into an expansive phase where you can connect with the vibration of the receiver as a whole. But it can also be used specifically as well. So for example, you want to open the shoulders, you can go into the points or subos and you can open your own shoulder. So it's a very versatile technique, modeling. Okay, and then we went on to week 3, that's last week. We looked at the meridians. We looked at picking a dominant meridian rather than Kyojitsu. And we talked about the meridians being a link between the bodies. And then we went straight on to the 4 bodies that Pauline described, which is the material body, which is the physical body, which also connects with the chakras and the meridians, but it's more 3-dimensional. Then we have the personal body, which is an extension into the light body, extends into a field around the body. It's still a 3-dimensional connection to the body. And then we've got the ether body, which contains the belief systems and the emotions. And that can also hold traumatic events within it. And we start to access non-3-dimensional information like past events and things like that. And also that's the gateway into the astral body. So the astral body opens up through the ether body. Do a bit more of that today. And that extends out into the universe. And if you were here last week, if you haven't seen the recording yet, we did a really powerful group exercise where we sensed the bodies, and by far the one that was clearest to the group as a whole was the astral body. We felt the whole thing as a group. It was really, really exciting event. Okay, and we left you with a question, which was, what aspect of the energetic anatomy links all of the bodies? So if anyone would like to put in their ideas in the chat, what do you think, what aspect of the energetic anatomy links all of the bodies? Okay, here we go. And if you look in the chat for a second, you'll see some suggestions. We're getting more of the heart, the chakras. Camilla says the chakras. Yeah, that's one of the things we're going to be definitely investigating. The meridians, the connection between the meridians and the chakras. Yeah, the spine, the heart, and all those things. Yeah, really relevant.
Yeah, definitely. Choose all of them. Choose all of them.
Yeah. So here we are. We've arrived. I've managed to get it done in 11 minutes. I was 1 minute over. So here we are for week 4. Really looking forward to this. And just a little overview. We've done the review. Whew. Okay. We're going to think about that question, which we've already done. And then Nicola and Gabriella are going to take us on a journey looking at the origin of the chakras, the rights of the chakras, which is a real practical way of using the chakras, the earth and soul star chakras, which are really useful. Again, I use them all the time. And then we're going to review and talk about next week. Okay, so it's over to Nicola.
Origin of the chakras. So let me do the clicking. Question from last week. That's what we had. So what links them all? The meridians and the chakras. And first question for you all. Cliff, you're going to do the launching. Launch the poll number 1. Does that happen? Yeah. So how do you work with the chakras in your practice, in your sessions? What are we getting? Yes, often, and no. Oh, it seems to be fairly evenly distributed between yes, no, and sometimes. Brilliant. Okay, next. So the origin of the chakras, meridians and chakras. Pauline found this image, and if you look on the front of her DVD, it's that image with some sacred images inside it. There's the yin-yang sign and her hands holding that chakra. So the important thing to think about is how the meridians and the chakras work together. So if we think of the chakras, they tend to be aligned in the central body, though not all of them. We've got the lotus chakras in the palms, in the foot gates. So the big subas in the body can also become chakras. And for me, the way the chakras work is that energy from heaven and energy from earth mixes, but that's also the meridian energy, the light that we can feel when we activate the meridians as light, and that wraps around the chakras. So I found this image that Pauline had given us in an old Victorian maths book, and it was a book about flow dynamics. So, and it was called in maths, Spiral Miraculous, the miraculous spiral, and it's 2 logarithmic spirals that go in opposite directions. So if you imagine the energy from heaven coming down clockwise, then the energy of earth will come up anti-clockwise, and it will create that beautiful spiral that we had just now, which we use a lot as the anatomy of a chakra. So whatever sort of flow the Victorians were talking about in their maths, we'll rob that, we'll have that as the energy of the meridians. And so the energy of the meridians come into the center. What do you know about the soul star and the earth star? So let's have another poll. And it's coming up. Oh, they know about them about half and half, it looks like. Well, I'll tell you a bit more about them now. Okay, so heaven's energy comes into the body. We had that lovely quote from the Tao Te Ching in the first week, verse 42. From the Tao, something, nothing, the stuff that is nameless, comes something, maybe the spark of life, and from that comes the two. And in the Tao, so the Tao Te Ching was written in 500 BC. They didn't talk about yin and yang till about 1500. So for more than 1,000 years, it was heaven and earth. So heaven's energy and earth's energy mix. So it's what we've got happening in the soul star. The energy of heaven comes into the human body via the soul star and via the earth star. And I'll talk a bit more about them when I do the application, but they balance up the energy of a human or any animal. They balance up, and they're a bit like a valve as well. They stop us getting overwhelmed because there's an infinite amount of energy in the universe. And there are lots of sorts of infinity. My son, who did a philosophy degree, wrote about the 5 main types of infinity. So if we think about the earth, there's a lot of energy in the earth, but there's even more in the cosmos. So we can do that, have the energy of the universe. So the soul star and the earth star connect us to heaven and earth. And we're on that precipice between the ether body, which is the energy of us or the energy of our client, and the astral body, which connects us to the everything, or whatever we're going to call it. Okay. So the central channels play a big part in this. If we think back to that image of the chakra, the meridians mix, and I painted this picture really to represent more how the energy seems to me when I look at it. I'm quite visual. I sort of see the energy. All of you will get in touch with that energy in a myriad of different ways. So the energy comes down from heaven, comes up from earth, it moves in waves. The waves go in opposite directions, which create these subos, vortexes, spirals. And that happens when I talk about the central channels. I'm not thinking about anything in particular. It's the Renmai Dumai, that sort of yin yang, heaven and earth mix, the Chongmai, the Baomai, the blood meridian, the heart uterus meridian. It's also this cranial sacral flow. So, and within the cranial sacral flow, you've got the flow of the fluid in the spine. You've also got the electricity within the spine. So there's a whole lot of energy that's flowing up and down a physical body. And like I said, that's the same for all of us animals. Oh, just to remind the TCM bit of this. So the meridians come into that. How am I doing for time? Oh, I'm only halfway through. That's all right. So the triple heater, the kidney, have the main job of connecting to the central channels, but all the meridians also have their own aspects of connecting to the central channels. The triple heater is sometimes called the Sea of Chi for the meridians, or the Sea of Meridian Chi. So the triple heater has that job of taking it out to all the edges, all the meridians, all right down to your fingers and everything. The kidneys have more of a job of storing the chi from the central channels. So if you do beautiful qigong, you get lots of chi from heaven, lots of chi from earth, or you eat a delicious, healthy meal, you get lots of chi from earth. The kidneys can store that for a little while. So the chi from the central channels, the ki, the energy, goes straight to the meridians, and a little bit vice versa, but more we're thinking about the central channels. So this is called the Neijing. Two just means brocade. So Neijing is that sort of mixing of the internal alchemy, the internal energetic anatomy, we call it these days. So the origin of a chakra. In the beginning, you didn't exist, nor did I. And in the beginning, there was an egg and a sperm, and they came together. And from that moment, as the cells divide, it sets up the energetic anatomy. So by 3 weeks, this is an actual photo. I was so glad not to have to use a fetus that was outside the body. This is a picture of a fetus at 3 weeks. So by 3 weeks, you've got a heart. You can see the heart there, the red bit, color-coded. Thank you, whoever put the picture up. So the chakra of the heart is already there. The beating of the heart is there at 3 weeks. So at 3 weeks, we're starting to create our energy field. This, as I said, the same for all the animals. The heart then starts to do the whole thing. Underneath, this is one of my pictures. Someone rang me up about 3 weeks ago and said, what do you think the heart energy looks like? So I went to my shed and did this. So that's the same sort of miraculous spiral under the painting, and then the energy sort of going out in all directions, something connecting it to the central channels. And earthworm. Just to sort of go back to the basics, the earthworm doesn't have a heart, but it has something called the pumping mechanism, which is about here in the middle. This is the sex organs, if you like, of the earthworm. And right at the top, it's got ganglion. It hasn't really got a brain, but that's the start of the energetic, the Three Dantien, if you like. So for us, the lower power center, also connected to the sex organs and all the rest of that power. The middle Dantien connected to the heart, and the upper Dantien connected to the mind. And one of the things about the chakras is they're grounded in the anatomy where something is making those vortexes sort of connect to the physical body. So the heart is a really clear one, which is partly why I used it last week. I did make a mistake, though, using the heart meridian, because I hope you didn't think that meant the heart meridian goes to the heart chakra. That was a mistake. Well, it wasn't a mistake. It worked really well, and I'm really glad everyone had such a positive experience. But all the meridians go to all the chakras, particularly as you get to using the meridians as light. Okay. So how many chakras are there? Well, I've just said about the Three Dantien. What do you think? Here's a poll. And I've still got a bit of time left. Excellent. Cool. More than 19. More than 19. 7. Yeah, some of you are yoga bunnies, aren't you? 7 is the classic in yoga. 9 is good. And if you remember what I said about the chakras in the hand gates or in the Laogung or Palace of Calm, as I call it these days, there are many chakras and more than 19. So Pauline talked to us about the 19 chakra system. So this is my picture again, just to sort of reinforce the fact that it's a swirl, it changes. We can go from a 1 chakra system, the tube of light, the light channels, to 3 Dantien, you know, and if you have a client who does a lot of martial arts, they might have a 1 chakra system that is a point in the belly. If you do work on a yoga person, you'll see the 7 chakras very clearly. I remember Pauline teaching us about those 19 chakras. Oh my goodness. And we talked about this the other day, Gabriella. And at one point, all of us just put our pens down. It meant that there were 12 in the head going, okay, loads of chakras. Energy is constantly spiraling through the body. Strong chakras like the heart are usually present. I've written always. I should have said usually, because as we go off into the astral, they're not so present in the treatment. And then other chakras that aren't grounded in the anatomy come and go. And that takes us to the 7 chakra system. They tend to be the core of the energetic body. And I will show you more of how I use them. I think now we're going to move into thinking about these 7 chakras, which are very much grounded in the anatomy of the body. So thank you for that. the rights. Over to you, Gabriella.
That was great. It was interesting to see how many people, quite a lot of people thought there were more than 19 as well.
Yeah, I like that. But Shiatsu people tend to use a lot of tsubos, so they know the crossover.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So now Gabriella's going to take us on a journey into the rights of the chakras. So here we go. Over to you, Gabriella.
Thank you. So, okay, how do I get the other? Okay. So first we have a poll. Do you know the rights of the chakras? No, that's interesting. Half and half. Well,
So they'll find out now.
so it's interesting. So we can share this. Okay. Well, 55% no. Okay, that's a good opportunity to start working with them. Okay, so how do you get to the next slide? So the chakra, let's sum up a little bit. So chakras are centers, as Nicola mentioned, for receiving, processing, and transmitting cosmic energy through the human form. So the cosmic energy is reorganized in a chakra to be absorbed and used by the human material body. And the chakras help us to connect with the divine source, which is outside of ourselves. And as Nicola told us very clearly, meridians relate to chakras by forming their outer strength. So there is this movement from the chakras to the meridians, back to the chakras, and we becoming enlightened by cosmic energy. Okay, so what Pauline was focusing more when she taught us how to work with chakras was about the rights of the chakra, which is very much in line with her always talking about working with healthy energy, working with the potential of the person. So what she was really emphasizing was the right connected with each chakra. So let's go very quickly through the theory and then we will experience them. So the first chakra is our right to be and to have. So it's our right to exist, to survive, and also to have all the things that are necessary for our life, for our survival, which may be love, time, money, anything we need for our life and for our survival. So it's really basic survival rights. And the second chakra is the right to feel, is the right to feel emotions, is the right to have feelings, is the right to express these emotions, really allow them to happen and for us to feel them. The third chakra is the right to act and to react. So it's a little bit our power, our will, our assertiveness. It's our right to develop our inner authority, and also is our right to react to the actions of other people. So to really be strong. And the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, is our right to love and to be loved. So it's our right really to allow ourselves to feel love, to feel unconditional love, to risk the unconditional love, and also to be loved unconditionally, to believe we deserve to be loved unconditionally. And the fifth chakra is the thought chakra, and is our right to speak and to be heard. So it's our right to speak openly, to speak our truths, and our right for our truths to be listened to, and for us, for our speaking, for our expressions to be listened to. And then we go to the sixth chakra, which is our right to see and to be seen. So it's our right to see reality as it is, and also to have a vision of the past, a real vision of the past, of the present, and a vision of the future. And it's also our right to be seen as we are in our reality and to be acknowledged as a human being. And the 7 chakra is our right to know and to be known, which is our right to access the divine, is our right to knowledge, to wisdom, to self-consciousness, and also it is our right to be known as an expression of the divine source, to be known also for who we really are. And okay, this we will do in the practical exercise. When all these chakras merge, we have our whole self. We have the I am and the one chakra system. Okay, so now I move my computer, if I can manage to move it. Yes, I move my computer so you can see me, and I would advise you, if you can, to just stand. It will be nicer. Okay, can you see me? Let's see. Can you see me more or less? Yes. Okay. Okay, so we will just stand. Okay. We will just stand. And we will start by relaxing a bit our body. So we just put our feet well on the floor, relax, open up our feet, our toes, and then relax our ankles, our knees, then relax the pelvis, imagine it's expanding in all directions, and then we will go to the trunk, the rib cage. Let's breathe in the rib cage, creating space in this area, space between each rib, and then let's go to the shoulder girdle. Let's expand it and relax the shoulder, joint, the elbow, the wrist, the hands, and the neck, and then the head floating up and the sacrum going down. So, okay, just be totally open and relaxed. And then we can close our eyes and we can get in contact with our spine, with our central axis, and we can either feel this structure in the middle of our body or visualize it as you like. And then let's appreciate the concreteness, the denseness of this structure, but at the same time, let's get in contact with the movements that is happening within this dense structure. Because everything is moving, everything is transforming. Atoms, molecules, cells, everything is moving, energy is vibrating. And let's imagine this vibration along our spine becoming a wave of light. You may give it a color, just sparkling, whatever you prefer visualizing. And let's feel how this wave, this vibration of light is extending beyond the physicality of our spine, going down to the center of Earth and up to the center of the universe, connecting us to heaven and earth. And now let's invite the energy from Earth to come to us, to nourish us. And at the same time, let's call the energy from the universe. Let's invite this energy to enlighten us. And then let's merge these two energies. Let's merge yin and yang into the one. And we can see this is a central channel of light, earth energy merging with heaven energy, spiraling up and spiraling down. A channel, a central channel of light that we may anchor to the Earth Star Chakra and to the Soul Star Chakra, so that we can continue receiving this energy from Earth and from heaven. And now let's focus to our 7 chakras and to the rights they give us, they remind us, they nourish for us so that we can live them in our life. And so let's first get in contact with our first chakra. You can visualize these chakras the way you like, or the way that is more natural to you, like vortices, like balls of light, like just a vibration, whatever. Just let it happen. Just let it visualize your way. So let's go to the first chakra. I have the right to be, and I have the right to have. I have the right to live. I have the right to survive. I have the right to exist, and I have the right to have all I need to live and to survive. And let's just observe without any judgment how much these rights express in our life, manifest in our life, influence our life. How much space they have. My right to be and my right to have. And then let's go to the second chakra. I have the right to feel. I have the right to feel emotions. I have the right to have feelings. And again, we can observe how this right influences our life, how it manifests in our life, how we live it. And we can also put this chakra together with the first one to observe if they have the same vibration, the same strengths, or if there are differences, similarities, just observe. And then we go to the third chakra. I have the right to act and I have the right to react. I have the right to have a will to exerce my power. And I have the right to react to other people's action. And again, once more, how does this right influences our life? How does it manifest, expresses itself in our daily life? Again, with no judgment, just observing, thinking. And then also we connect this chakra with the others, the other two. And again, we observe similarities, differences. And then we go to the heart chakra, to the fourth chakra. And I have the right to love, and I have the right to be loved. I have the right to allow myself to love unconditionally. And I have the right, I deserve to be loved unconditionally. Once more, how do these rights manifest in my life? How much space do they take? And again, let's put this chakra together with the others, observing similarities, differences in the way they express, in the strengths of their expression, in their lights, in their sparkling, in their movement. And then we go to the 5th chakra. I have the right to speak and I have the right to be heard. I have the right to speak openly. I have the right to speak my truth, and I have the right for my truth to be listened to. And how much these rights manifest in my life? How much do they express in my life? How much space they have for their expression? And then connect this chakra with the others, observing similarities, differences. And then I go to my 6th chakra. I have the right to see, and I have the right to be seen. I have the right to see the reality as it is. I have the right to see the past for what it was. I have the right to have a vision for the future. And I have a right to be seen as I am. Once again, let's observe how these rights express in my life, how they manifest themselves. And then let's connect this chakra with the others, again observing similarities and differences. And then let's go to the 7th chakra. I have the right to know, and I have the right to be known. I have the right to access divine. I have the right to have knowledge, wisdom, intelligence. And I have the right to be known for who I am. And again, let's see how these rights express in our life, how much space they have, how they influence my life. And now let's first connect this chakra with the others, and then let's merge all of these chakras into one chakra system, into a harmonious vibration. Let's merge into my whole self, into the I am. And let's connect this unified chakra to the Earth Star chakra and to the Soul Star chakra. And now just let's take a moment to enjoy this feeling of this central channel of light connecting us to heaven and earth, to this one chakra system, giving us the gift of all those rights. And feeling through the Earth Star chakra and the Soul Star chakra our connection and our access to Earth and Heaven energy. And then let the light of our central channel spread in all directions, lightening up our physical body and then going beyond the borders of our physical body to lighten up the space around our body, our etheric field. let it expand as much as it is comfortable for us, as far as it can reach, without us losing the connection with our central channel of light. And then just observe how it feels to be a body of light, to be in contact with heaven and earth energy, with our eyes. And then it is when we are and become a body of light that we can access all of our human potentials, our strengths, our talents. So again, let's enjoy this feeling of being a human being, an expression and manifestation of the cosmic energy in a physical form. And the possibility of accessing all of our human potentials. We stay in a few moments in this very special feeling of oneness, of light, of connections. And then when we think we've had a good experience, we can start doing very small movements, maybe with our hands, with our feet, and then maybe little bigger movements, just to come back. And then when we are ready, we can open our eyes and do all the movements our body wants to do, stretching, bending, extending, getting again back into our physicality, into our body, but without losing that feeling of being a light body, because we are a light body. Thank you.
That was definitely the most powerful chakra experience I've had. It was really strong, and I definitely need some work. I definitely need to do some work on some of my chakras, I can tell you.
Well, we forget about how rich we are sometimes.
Yeah, thank goodness when we united them all together, that helped.
Yeah.
Nicola, would you like to just give us a brief idea of some practical application?
Yes. I'm going to stand up again. Were there not a couple more slides first?
Let's have a look and see.
I think there were.
Let's have a look. Shall I just flick through them? Let's see. That's this. No.
Oh, yeah.
You're next. Yeah.
Oh, great. I thought we were going to have the one that looked like a pumpkin.
I think that's
Is it not
later. Let's have a look. Oh, sorry, you're flicking through. Wait a minute. Have we got another? Yeah. Let's just do one more poll. Let's just run another poll. Do you use the Earth and Soul Star chakras in your session? That's the question we want to ask you. And just get an idea. Notice I put no, not yet, because I'm sure you're going to be doing it soon.
After today.
Especially after next week when we're going to share how we use it. There we go.
Yeah, great. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what I did last week and try and explain it. So I quite like this pumpkin image that we've got on the screen now, and the one before is an etching that I did. I really wish it was white ink on black paper, but hey. So, okay. Do you want to make it full screen? I'll show you what we're doing.
Okay, yeah.
So, no frog this week. You've got the Heart Sutra instead. I thought we'd do it slightly different, but what I want to do is just sort of take you through what I did. So I started by lighting the candles for me, the Earth Star and the Heaven Star are a way into this treatment. Ooh, lighting the candles. Maybe I can't do it. Yes, I can. And it was amazing last week. Thank you very, very much to everyone who emailed, because it's quite strange when you do sort of magical things in your front room. And I know we were really helped. I put this picture here because Pauline gave me this cloth. Far too precious now to use like a shiatsu cloth, but I think she really did the work last week. I mean, it was the hands maybe, but even then, it was mostly in the astral field. So mostly I think we were helped by Pauline and all the other forces that we invited in. And that's sort of what I try and do with my treatments now. Oh, I'm just going to put my head in the picture because that might give me a headache otherwise, if I do that a little bit. Oh, that's better. I don't want to get a headache. I suddenly looked up and saw me with a headache. Okay, I'm going to do this treatment for me, so that's maybe good. I've already cured my headache. So what I did last week is I lit the stars, and what I'll probably do if I had a client is I'd probably light a candle before they arrived, and I might light a second candle before I do the practical treatment. And for me, that's handing the work over to the higher powers, to Pauline if she wants to play, or any of the other NPBs. We'll do something about non-physical beings in another quantum session. But for now, we just want to have this sense of the alignment. So you've got the heaven and earth stars and person aligned in between the stars. And I'm going to use this Heart Sutra. The very first thing I do then is put my hands on them. I might put my hands on the heart, usually on the Hara. These days I'm doing much more treatments face down. So they put their face down through the hole so there's no evil COVID droplets coming up at me. But whatever, hands on the lower back, hands on the person, connecting to that physical body. So that's the material body and the personal body, but maybe the personal body's not that present. We're just going to do some sort of meridian work to connect, to get that fluffy body that is around the person. So I will do a etheric diagnosis, pick a meridian, any meridian, let's have the bladder meridian. And tuning in to the spine, maybe. If I do this treatment for me today, then maybe it should be large intestine. I've got an achy hip today. Yeah, there we go. So some sort of light that comes out of the meridian that connects the chakras to this one chakra system. When we just did that with Gabriella, she gave us very clearly that vibrational thing. So the chakras are grounded in the body. So I might put my hand on the heart like I did last week. The chakras are grounded in the spine, the cranial sacral flow, the central channels. We might want to get that vibration a bit faster. So it becomes this tube of light. And within that, there are chakras. And it's constantly expanding and contracting. So we'd be attracted back down into the physical body, especially if they said something like, oh, my hip. So we might be attracted into that. So what I did last week is I set up the possibility of it being extraordinary. I put in the stars. I tuned into the heart chakra because that's the center of the energy system, the center of our ether body, the center of Jing, no, backspace delete, the center of Qi. And then we can come into the Hara, the center of Jing. And we might put a hand on the head or connect into the energy in the mind, the center of the Shen, where we go into all possibility. And having that alignment. So we put in the heaven star, earth star. And that's my way to be in this sort of multi-dimensional work. Lots of people have got different triggers or switches or ways in. And I know Gabriella mentioned just using the column of light as a way in, you know, and really it is just mindset. I do this to sort of ground myself rather than, and obviously I don't have candles on the person. They'll be somewhere around in the room. And I do it just to sort of ground me in the work and to hand the work over to a higher power. In the millennium, back around 2000, I got quite a lot of burnout. And it was because I was working so hard, trying so hard to make my clients better. And then I started doing this new work with Pauline, the Quantum Shiatsu, the multidimensional, the light body work is what I called it. And the light body work gives me a way to hand the work to the higher powers. So I invite in Pauline, I invite in their guides, their angels, and I keep this ether body really clear. And for some clients, that's all they want, and they want it back into the physical being. Other clients, we can access the magical, the unknown. And we're playing with that game of the pure energy of heaven, the physical energy of earth, mixing. And it's like Einstein said. Einstein's famous equation is E, energy, is the same as matter times a lot of light. Light squared, the speed of light squared. E equals mc squared. It's new science. It's the ancient Tao. Heaven and earth energy come out of the Tao. And mix makes the three. The three is the spark of life. All creatures have that spark of life, where heaven's energy and earth's energy mix. And I talked to my partner about this. I'm going to try and drag him in for the demo next week. And I said, well, you know the difference between a dead thing and a live thing? That is the energy I'm talking about. And he said, you know, Nicola, science doesn't really know what life is, and they don't know when someone's dead. There's a lot of different discussions about whether it's breath, heartbeat. So there we go. Science doesn't quite know what life is yet, but we do. We know the difference between a dead plant and an alive plant, don't we? Yes. So this is what we do. I'll run through it once again. Put the soul star and earth star in place, which gives me this column of light, which gives me access into all the central channels. I'll use a single meridian to light up that ether body if it's not very lively. And at the end, I do the same thing in reverse. So I might come from the flower of life, which I put in last week. So the astral, we've got the beautiful flower of life, or the grid, or whatever way you interpret that, space beyond space, time beyond time. So the flower of life, 60 degrees, many, many circles. Sometimes I call it the frog spawn. From there, we bring the energy into the ether body of the client. From there, we bring the energy into the meridians. From there, we drop the energy into every cell of their being, including their hip. Okay, so that's sort of what I tried to do last week for everyone. I really appreciate the feedback that people sent in. Thank you. And I'm so glad that lots of you felt something. You'll blow the candles out. Hope that helped.
Okay, thank you very much, Nicola. Just to be clear, you don't have the candles on the table with the client's line. No. I just thought I'd make that absolutely clear. A few people in the chat want the candles. But next week, you'll see all of us actually working, because what we're going to do to finish up the series is we're going to all do a demo on a client or a distance session or something. I haven't decided yet, but we're going to do a demo, and you'll see how we all differ in the way that we apply the actual material into an actual session. So hopefully you can tune in next week, and you'll see us doing like a demo each. Okay, great. So thank you very much. We've come to the end of our time. We haven't got many questions, which I always think is a good thing. Either everyone's totally, completely blown away, or
We were very clear.
Yeah, or we were very clear, or maybe half and half.
And Cliff, you're going to leave them with a question.
Sorry?
You're going to leave them with a question.
Oh, yeah, we are. Let's just go back to the slides and just see what the questions are. Final, here we go. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, okay, so the question we're going to leave you with this week is, how would you integrate all this work into your treatments? And those of you, the majority of you who haven't, are only just discovering about the Soul Star, it's all new material, just think about how you might incorporate it. And then next week we'll do some demos, and then hopefully that will ease you in. I find it a really exciting way of working, and it's a really great way of expanding our energy awareness beyond the Meridian system, and really working with the positive aspects of Ki, universal Ki, in the sessions. Very, very powerful. Just want to say thank you very much to Nicola and Gabriella. Thank you very much to Dinah for working so hard at the chat. And thank you, most of all, for tuning in. And we will see you next week for the final episode of a celebration of Pauline Sasaki's work, Quantum Shiatsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pauline. Yeah, thank you.